Mad Max was a game that was born from the comic book movie franchise, but instead of following in the footsteps of the movies, the game recreated the character of Moody Max and brought us a game that took many by surprise. With its beautiful world and open desert setting and brutal jaw-breaking, spine-busting combat, it looked like a contender for Game of the Year. But it also got some mixed reviews, mainly because the game was misunderstood. You see, there are no real guns in this game. I mean, you might expect to see an old AK-47 lying around somewhere. I mean, after all, there's like 40 million of them. But no, the only gun you get is Max's iconic shotgun. Unfortunately, this gun is stolen from Max at the start of the game, and you don't get to use it unless you complete the game, which seems a bit of a cop-out to me. But instead, Max gets his hands on a cheap-looking homemade shotgun that looks more like a pipe than a gun. But it does the job. But fans didn't like the lack of firearms, and neither did I. At the time, I wanted flamethrowers, miniguns, RPGs, the lot. But the truth is, Mad Max is a minimalist game. It's meant to be like that. In fact, your fists and your car are your best weapons. I guess not having too many guns is how it should be. I mean, if you watch the films, you don't see a lot of guns. It's all bows and arrows and homemade knives and weapons. And once you buy into that, you start to really appreciate this game because it's about survival, finding food, water and limited ammo. It's about building up your car into a high-octane war machine. And that's where the game comes into its own, with its brutal Batman-style combat and melee weapons and war boys and car-based carnage. This game was a lot of fun. It can get a bit repetitive, unfortunately. Yes, you do take down a lot of enemy bases, and that can be frustrating after a while. But if you don't expect too much from this game, you actually realise it's pretty good. In fact, at times it's great. The characters feel well created. Your sidekick Chumbucket is an insane mutant mechanic who helps you along your way while fixing up your car, called the Magnum Opus. And it also becomes an 8-cylinder war machine, an absolute beast, which tears through the desert and enemy vehicles all at once. And the car combat and huge explosions and burning twisted metal, that really makes this game what it is. There's enough variety with gangs of war boys and enemy bases and bosses to fight through, and enough diversity with the car combat with the weapons like a battering ram and a handy harpoon, and you can take down convoys just like the Road Warrior himself. And soon you'll be shouting, "The Toe Cutter, he knows who I am!" But with some, the critics will always look at the lack of diversity in the weapons and missions. I mean, this isn't GTA 5, there just isn't as much to do in this game. But that's kind of the point of the game. I mean, in respect, you've got to look at it. You can't judge it too harshly. I mean, we are in the desert, and the desert doesn't have a lot in it. I mean, that's why it's the desert. You can't go overboard on criticism. But I think, some players, they will enjoy this game. There's enough here to keep them happy. And no other game comes close to recreating the wonderful apocalyptic world of Mad Max like this does. With its beautiful desert landscapes, crazy bandit Wild West style action. Only the difference is, instead of horses, you got cars, and instead of guns, you got homemade bats, axes, metal bars, shivs, and enough cool fight moves to kick anyone's ass. I'd give Mad Max probably 85 out of 100. It's not as good as GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2, but it blends those two worlds together and creates something that's very true to the Mad Max world. And I thought it was really great.